Okay, this says I'm live. Let's see if it's real. Let's see if it's real. The thumbnail's freaking stupid. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's not it. Love you, Dave, but that's pretty funny. There we go. It's pretty funny. There we go. It's pretty funny. There we go. It's pretty funny. Oh, sounds like shit. Hmm. All right, I just need to send this to Instagram here. All right, folks, I'm live on YouTube. Anybody interested? If you're around, it's a nice snowy night. Maybe you're stuck in, need something to do. And it's about 10 of 10, thereabouts. I'm going to leave the link over here next to my picture. If you're around, it's a nice snowy night. Maybe you're stuck in, need something to do. And it's about 10 of 10, thereabouts. I'm going to leave the link over here next to my picture. Folks, I'm live on YouTube. Okay. So I'm live. No. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. There we go. Unreal. All right. I just need to send this to. Yeah. Okay. Hello. I'm by myself, but I said I would potentially do this earlier in the day. Again, apologies to the mess in the background. Though I do have some new shelves that I just need to put the books in. Yes, so I'm by myself. It is Saturday, January 18th, about 10 of 10. It's snowing out. So, first sort of major snowstorm of the winter of 2020. And so I was out and about earlier today. Excuse me. And, I had to do, some shopping and stuff, but I usually like to take a little bit of time to do some retail therapy, if you will, or just fart around in a bookstore or a record store. That tends to be my jam as far as that goes. Just trying to relax and whatever. Just again, it's usually spending money I don't have and all that, but whatever. Sorry, my head's a little flashy there. Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna. It's a little less. Yeah, but then that happens. So of course, yeah, the lighting in here isn't the best. So kind of is what it is. Anyway, excuse me. So anyway, so I'm up at Barnes and Noble actually, and had a coupon. I figured I'd spend it, whatever. So I go in there, and there were some sales. I was looking at some records and all, and I can never sometimes tell. I can only tell when it sort of starts to happen. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, in the moment, basically. And basically what happens is that I'm fine 1 second, and then the next I'm just not sort of in my I'm in my head, or I'm just like not feeling well, or whatever it was. But in this situation, what happened was that I ended up, I'm again over into there near the vinyl record. Sorry, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get rid of the glare. Just stick on that. Yeah. So anyway, I'm trying to just look at the vinyl and all this kind of stuff, and some dude was there looking at records, and has a little girl with him. Couldn't be more than 4. She was toddling around, but just old enough to carry, to sort of kind of carry on a conversation. You kind of understand what she's, she's 4. She's like, and they're sort of literally like right next to me, like literally she's just right there, and like she just wasn't looking, and she kind of bumped into me, but she was cute. She kind of looks up and says, "Oh, hi," and it was very cute. But the dad was just like, I don't know, in his own head, and he's trying to corral her, which I get, but at one point, he's trying to say, don't touch this, or don't do that, or this, blah 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 blah. He wasn't yelling at her per se, but he was just sort of, I don't know, annoyed, like clearly annoyed she was there. I think, but then, and he has like he has a book in his hand, and he didn't do this hard, but he sort of tapped her on the head with the book. I think he was trying to be playful, and I think to a certain degree, maybe I don't like these are the kinds of things that I sometimes don't know how to gauge. But because it was literally like right next to me, I just kind of didn't. I just suddenly started to sort of seethe, and I almost said something. I almost said, "Dude, what are you fucking doing?" But a little girl was there. I didn't want to cause a scene, but it was one of those things that's like, in any way, shape, or form, do you not ever hit a child at all in any way, shape, or form? Not even really, not even in a playful way. You just don't do it. Because you're just making it, you're just teaching her that it's okay to hit in some way, shape, or form. And I've seen it before out in public with people that do this kind of shit, and I always, one part of me feels like a coward for not saying anything, but then the other part of me says, something, not my monkeys, not my circus. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I can never gauge that shit correctly, but all I know is that it makes me see red, and it just sort of like from that moment, it's like, okay, I need to just need to kind of walk away, get away from both of them, and then I kind of go near where the toys are, and then there's, I don't know if it was a mom or a sister or whatever with 2 little boys, and they start screaming, And she starts kind of yelling at him. It's like, be quiet and shush, and like really loudly, like really kind of, just the kind of loud, forceful, demanding and of a child to be quiet, and it was just like, what the fuck is going on here in this store all of a sudden? Like suddenly I'm just sort of becoming a magnet for this weird fucking behavior, seemingly. Or if it's not weird, it just felt weird at the moment. So I just started to kind of get twingy, and I had to get the fuck out of there as quick as I just purchased what I wanted to get, got the hell out, and then proceeded to have a full-blown panic attack in the car. And it's like, and I still have more shopping to do, and I didn't want to do it, and I have to do it, but I needed a minute to sort of chill. So I don't know. I know there's nobody here to listen to me do this, but it's I wonder what other people's thoughts are about that phenomenon where you're out in public and you see a parent or somebody, just really treating their children like fucking shit. I mean, listen, I'm not a parent. I don't know. I can only imagine the patience that one needs to have when you have a child that's precocious or curious or ask questions. But and truthfully, that's why I don't have kids, because I don't know if I could be that patient. I'm barely patient with the littlest things in my life, and God knows if I had children, I feel like I would probably not be patient. And this is one of those situations where it's sort of like, when one potentially, well, I think, it's the whole thing of like, dost thou protest too much, that kind of thing. It's like, well, yes and no, but, because I'm not a parent, I also know that the reason why I'm not a parent is because I might be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. So that's why I don't have kids. I have cats. And I've been that way with my cats. So, but, so I guess I'm open to sort of being aware of it when it's happening around me. But how do you act? I mean, obviously if a kid was literally being harmed, forcefully being harmed in any way, shape, or form, I think that would be different. This was a relatively minor thing, I suppose, but I just was pissed. I just went in my head. I'm just thinking, what happens when this little girl's at home? I mean, what is it? I mean, if they're doing that stuff like that out in public, what are they doing at home? I just, so, not a banner day for humanity in my eyes, I suppose. So, I suppose it doesn't take much to color my perceptions of humanity. I don't have a lot of hope on a lot of levels for humanity in general. And when I see that stuff, it just like, it just digs the hole deeper for my heart to sink, And so, so it's just been that kind of day. But the other past like 2 weeks. So I mean, we're not even on January of 2020 yet, and just in December, Neil Innes passed away of Monty Python, Bonzos, and Ruddles fame. And I had some personal interactions with him, which were, clearly mostly fan based, but I had a few Twitter conversations with him, and when I was on Twitter still, and had the chance to meet him on a couple of occasions. Once in England at the Bonzos anniversary back in 2006. It was really cool to me outside when it was freezing out. I signed my stuff, and somehow I made the DVD, and I don't know if that was by accident or whatever, but I was holding up a little sign that said, from the USA, whatever. So I made the DVD of that, and then when he came to Fall River back in 2000 and I think it was 2008. It wasn't that long, not that long ago. Played to hardly 50 people, maybe, which was ridiculous. But still, just the nicest guy. You know, got a picture with him doing the little salute that he came up with, and he signed literally everything I had, and just a really nice, gentle, humble guy, but just just the nicest. So so he passes away kind of suddenly. Apparently, I mean, he was 75, but he passed away suddenly. He wasn't sick. He just sort of passed away. One hopes he passed away potentially in his sleep, and so he wasn't in pain or anything. From the sound of it, it sounded like that was the case. But anyway, still a loss, big loss. And then about a week ago, well, it would have been January 7th that it happened, and then we didn't hear about it until about 3 days later on the 11th. So last week, another Neil, second Neil within 2 months, which is weird. Neil Peart of Rush passes away, which was also, at least to the fans and anybody that enjoyed his work, was out of nowhere, out of left field, and really fucking sudden. Though you learn that he was suffering from glioblastoma, I think is the way you say it, which is basically brain cancer, for the last 3.5 years. And he had just retired from the band, so it sounds to me like he was not. I mean, had physical problems with his the arthritis and his shoulders and stuff. And it sounds to me like not long after he retired, he was diagnosed with this fucking cancer. So everybody's sort of that he knows and that is in the public eye were sworn to secrecy, who clearly knew about it, and kept it very secret. But yeah, sure enough, he succumbed to that. He's 67. He has a 10-year-old daughter from the family that he cultivated out of the wreckage of the loss of his first family. Fuck's sake, that's what I'm saying. Is I see stuff like that. Chokes me up. You see someone who put his heart and his soul into his work, tried to remain humble. He was never wrote the song Limelight, basically saying that he didn't want to be in the limelight. He let his other buddies in Rush kind of take that that bullet, if you will. And he studied, he didn't do meet and greets. He didn't do autographs, really. But that being said, if he met fans, apparently he was just the nicest guy, very down to earth, very humble. It's the people like that kind of do something positive for the world, and they're the ones that tend to be taken first. And then you got fucktard Trump and McConnell and all these idiots are still walking the fucking planet, and they're fucking evil. I don't know. So it's difficult to find positivity in the human race, and it's difficult to find positivity in a universe or a reality that just feels so outright cruel. Yeah, hard to fathom it. Hard to twist your head around it. One has to try to survive and work and do things and try and be positive, and it's just it's hard to do. It's just hard to do these days. Anyway, that's that's been my day. And so I don't know. Excuse me. Since I'm on my own, I feel like I can be a little gauche and burp if I want to. Anyway, but there's no one here. This is what, my third stream thing. Who knows? Maybe somebody will pop in. These are always kind of a crapshoot. I'm not famous or anything. I'm not. whatever it is I have to say potentially isn't necessarily that earth shattering, I suppose. But if nothing else, it's just something I need to do. Maybe for myself, but if someone can get something from it, even after the fact, I've noticed that some of my streams get looked at later, um, and so maybe that's one of the things I need to do is I need to make these more on a regular basis and sort of plan for them and put them up saying, I'm going to be live on this date or whatever, and maybe it gives people more of a heads up if they are around, if they're interested to come and say hey and to talk or chat about whatever the hell they want to talk about, I suppose. But like I said, for me, I sometimes just talking about this, that, or the other just to get it out, even if it's just to no one, and if it's just to a video that maybe somebody will see later, that's fine. Maybe something that I say might resonate. I don't know. It's hard to know. I was thinking about this today as well. Just thinking about projects that I'm trying to think about or work on or look into potentially, getting started or turning the heat up on or whatever. And it's much the same. It's always just difficult kind of finding, there's time and then there's not enough time. And then when there is maybe enough time, I don't have the energy or I'm not feeling well or whatever it might be, or mostly it's because I'm working, semester starts up in earnest in a week, less than a week, when it's next week, basically. So, work is challenging right now. So it's one of those things. So, yeah, so, I just do these things and see if maybe someone will want to, chat about their lives or whatever it is they're doing, projects that they're doing, maybe. Any other of my musician friends are all probably out doing gigs or something, even in the snow. Though I've noticed online it's that a lot of things are getting canceled because of the snow. But I'm not noticing it's horribly bad out there. It looks like there's maybe an inch or two, but it is supposed to snow throughout the rest of the evening apparently. So we'll see. But otherwise, anyway, so as far as projects goes, I think I've mentioned this before, but working on a covers project where I am, as usual, playing all the instruments on. Haven't done it in a while, so I'm a tad rusty, but excuse me. It's crazy. 10:15, and I'm already like, oh, time to go to bed. There's that, and then the project that the Fool's Paradise project that is sort of, at this point, it's like, I keep saying, oh, I'm going to work on it, I add stuff to it, I'm going to finish it and stuff. And it's like, well, I've been saying that since 1999 when I wrote the damn thing. So, it's 20, well, so, okay, this is what tends to happen. So it'll be 20 years since I wrote that record. And what happens is, it seems like most of these original records, it takes me about 20 years to finish, because I did the same thing with Taken Orally. Wrote that record, or most of that record, in 1995, and then finished it in 2006 or something, 2005 or 2006. So this will be the year for it. Apparently, it's time. Between that and the covers project, that gestated originally in I want to say late 80s, I think, because that project originated when I was still at the La Morgue in Coventry, back with I think at this point I don't know if I was still in Curio at that point with Keith and Stan. And as a matter of fact, I think I was even away from that and Blackbird 13 at the time. So I think I was, because I was the last holdout in that studio. And I want to say I forget, I don't exactly remember the timeline, but anyway, late 80s, early 90s, whatever. And the covers project gestated then. So we're talking, again, that's 30 years. So this would be a good year to kind of wrap up a 30-year-old project and a 20-year-old project, and then And then I don't know, well, if it all goes well and it's fun and I can get some rejuvenating energy into my bones, then maybe work on something different. Um, though potentially, hopefully, recording with um, Andy Lampert again. Now that we've gotten through some windows of things that needed to be done, like finally finished Steve Jobs' project. The record is done. Now it's just a matter of the technical aspect of for manufacturing and graphics and all that kind of stuff. So we're just in that process now, or going to soon be in that process. So, but the record in general is done. Editing's done, mixing's done, mastering's done, and sounds good. I think I'm very happy with my first all digital project. Is it perfect? Hell no. Are there technical things? Are there things about it technically that if I were to play to a whatever, somebody who's been working in digital a lot longer than I would find faults and this and that, they probably would. Don't care. Um, I put it in their CD player and I've listened to it on many, many speakers in the car, and it all sounds good. It all sounds the same. It all sounds level and balanced and all that kind of stuff, as it should. And that's all I need to hear. And I think we did a bang up job. It took a little while. It took a lot longer than we thought it would. But when you're only working on weekends, it things tend to take a long time. Anyway, um, so anyway, so that's where things are at now. So there's more time potentially to work with. However, there's also a matter of getting funds again and getting money, and I got to get my start of the year is always a bit rough after the holidays and taxes coming up, and trying to we'll see what happens with taxes, whether I get a my business you know um, tax breaks and get some sort of refund. I usually do, but I'll be happy if I get something at this point. But so everything's a challenge, of course. Um, but I suppose in that regard, nothing is impossible. Not yet, anyway. Um, I'm, so far the year 2020 has not been horribly. What's the word I'm looking for? Impressive, I think is the word. But I suppose, as with work, and I've been trying to use this modality for my head, that I suppose, you know, um, in the wake of great change will come great pain. And I think right now there's a lot of growing pains on a lot of levels, for the human race, but also for just stuff in general. So I'm hoping that if nothing else, maybe this year will, if it's going to be, listen, if it's going to be painful, then it better fucking change for the better. If it's just going to be painful for the sake of being painful, then as far as I'm concerned, this is just some sort of sadistic Sims game. Some sadistic son of a bitch is just playing a Sims game and making things miserable for these manifestations or avatars that we are. And it's indicative of, like, everything that's happening in the world regarding governments and things like that. If that is indeed the situation, then then we don't have a lot of control over it. Apparently, I don't know. So it is what it is. So I'm sort of abdicating a certain amount of, what's the word? I mean, I'm a control freak, so but I'm abdicating a certain level of that control to the powers, whatever powers that be, because I don't have any power to change things for the most part. I mean, I can manipulate things, I can maneuver things, I can that are in my backyard, but I don't know. It seems like I the more I scream, the less happens sometimes. So I'm trying to take maybe a different tact a little bit, as much as I'm political and try to, what change I can affect via an Instagram or a Facebook post. I don't know. People have said that they enjoy my Facebook posts, but I've just been let out of Facebook jail, so I'm trying to lay low a little bit. Doesn't mean I'm any less political for sure. So yeah, so it's funny. It's saying that there are 3 people on. I can't tell. Well, if there's anybody else on, they should say something in the chat. I mean, I know I'm on because I'm looking at it. I'm just trying. That's just my. I'm just. It's the. I'm on. The live stream is one person. The stream on my phone that I'm just checking to make sure it's still going is 2 people. But it is saying that there are 3 people. Though it just says me is the only one here, so that's weird. Hang on. I'm just popping out the chat here. I'm just curious. I'll restore the chat. Anyway. Actually, I'm just going to test the chat. Okay, yeah, so the chat is working. Anyway, so other than that, just that's just life as it is, I suppose. But I can talk about myself forever and a day. But since there's nobody here, I'll give it a couple more minutes, and then I'll probably log off as I do. But so what I may try to do is maybe try to drum this up a little more for people. It's just a general, again, vlog of just nothingness, really, or it's about whatever comes into my head. But again, if folks were to sign in with me on the live chat, then it would be the kind of thing where we could talk about whatever comes up. Live chat roulette, I suppose. And I don't know. Like I said, what do y'all have to talk about? Anything? So maybe I'll try to do that this week. If I do another stream next week, but maybe what I'll do is I'll put something up every day to kind of promote it and make sure that I'm doing it at the same exact time next week as say 9:30, 9:30 on a Saturday, for all you shut-ins out there that aren't out in a club or having drinks or whatever out with friends, because this is maybe this is shut-ins live vlog. That's pretty much what this is. But whatever. Anyway, so I've been on for about almost 34 minutes. I'll give it a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to say sayonara for the night. But anyway, other than that, all I can say is I hope other people are having a good new year so far. Keeping resolutions, starting resolutions, or ending resolutions for that matter, whatever works. I think I've learned not to put a lot of stock in those kinds of things, because it's kind of like a lot of pressure, truthfully, I think, for some people. Some people can do it. I've seen some people, they have that kind of, they have that resolve, and I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna quit drinking. I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna be on a diet. I'm gonna, I don't know, be more productive. And that's the whole sort of idea, is clean slate at the new year and all that stuff. And I get it, and I certainly wanted that for myself after, I had not a bad break over the holidays. Yeah, I didn't get everything I wanted to do. I certainly had high aspirations for getting a lot of work done on this new project, and I did not do that much. I did get it started. At least I have a framework for it, but other things did get in the way a little bit. I mean, one of which was just literally just resting because I needed the rest. I was burnt out after last year for sure. So anyway, and trying to make sure that I don't burn out again. Work is crazy. I'm covering for a number of people at the same time. I'm not making any more money at the moment. Trying to figure that out, figuring out some side hustles, trying to get the production stuff out a little bit more for people if they want to record and all that. So I got to be careful not to burn myself out again because I need the money or whatever it might be, and you know things that I know I need to do are, I need to continue getting my mental health back to a better sort of place because last year was just rough. I know some of that is diet. I know some of that is, you know, a lot of that. Trying to get a certain amount of, understanding that I'm an obsessive compulsive type of person. Um, uh, Recognizing it is one thing, doing something about it is a whole other thing, especially when you're on your own. I don't have a significant other um, helping me along, or whatever, and so sometimes it's a little difficult to navigate stuff. And get people asking me, "So, are you still taking classes and stuff like that?" It's like, no, dude, who? I don't have time for that. I really don't. It was never a priority for me. I was doing it because it's there at my job. It's like, because it was there. And it's like, yeah, I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. However, it's like, it's also the situation of like, it's just not my thing. It's not something I was ever wanted to pursue. I'm not, I'm never happy doing it. I always feel stressed out. The last thing I need is more stress in my life. Um, so, I already wrestle with enough stress without stressors. I don't need stressors to have stress, and that is nothing but a freaking stressor. So, you know, for now, school is not an option. I need to get my shit back together. I need to work on some projects of my own. Work is work, so I don't have time really to do any other thing. I have a house to take care of. I have a cat to take care of. I have money to try and find. I want to work on trying to get my online store going because that's a money thing. I got a lot of shit to do, and right now, taking classes for some basically for a piece of paper that I wouldn't get until I'm like almost in like 65 years old, ready to retire, and for what? A lot of wasted time, a lot of wasted energy for what? That really great big job that I'm waiting for. Come on, I got to think really realistically about this. Though, like anything that I'm going for a piece of paper is not going to get me that great job down the road. You know what I mean? I'm not looking to be a teacher. Not my thing. And getting that great intern job at the local recording studio. Considering I've been recording for 40 fucking years, it's just not going to happen at my age. No one's looking for a 60-year-old recording engineer whose ears are starting to go. Do the fucking math. So yeah, that's not happening. Anyway, there are realities, and then there are sort of things to do just because I can do them. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me anymore. So anyway, so it's 39 minutes. I'm going to sign off in about a minute. Well, anyway, so that was fun talking to nobody. But that's fine. Like I said, I don't promote these things. So, but if somebody sees these after the fact and listens all the way through, well, let me know. Put a comment down below. Let me know if there is anything you want me to talk about that I may or may not have insight on, other than just me hearing the sound of my voice. But if there's something you, especially regarding my sobriety or how I handle my anxiety, or those kinds of things. If you're interested in what I do and my methodology, I'm interested in the way you do it as well. Because hey, there's, if nothing else, I didn't do AA and all that kind of stuff for my sobriety. So for me, a lot of this was done in a vacuum to a certain degree. So I I created kind of my own, maybe for good or bad, I'm not really sure, but I created my own sort of plan, which really wasn't a plan. There was no plan other than to just stop the fuck drinking. So I did that. It wasn't easy, and it hasn't sometimes been easy. Obviously, it gets easier as you go along, but it's always a challenge. Every holiday's difficult because I really really miss eggnog with rum. That's a what I tell you, it's a lovely little drink when over the holidays and stuff. So, but um, anyway, so blah blah blah. So I'm gonna let go. It's about 10:30. I will hopefully see somebody next time, maybe. I'll put some other posts up in promo for it if I do this again next week, and go from there. And if you do watch the video after the fact, well, hope everything's good. Again, leave a comment, and maybe I'll see you on the next go around. All right, I'm out.